Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cold Open Cup. We hope you guys have had a wonderful, restful holiday season so far. Not a lot of days left in the year 2022. We are about to usher in a brand new year. And with that, we got to usher in a brand new map pool. Welcome to the round of 16 map pool showcase. As always, my name is Sparky and I am joined by none other than Pork is Great. Pork, how you doing?
Good, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are. Good evening. It is nice to be able to commentate this showcase, which I did look at it at from 1 to 3 in the morning. So I think and looking at it, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting showcase for these players to watch as 48 teams are left standing in the round of 16. But Sparky, speaking of which, we need to remind the players of what they are exactly playing for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we mentioned at the start of this tournament, this isn't a badge tournament by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think most staff would allow us to do that given the rank restriction and yada yada and all these sort of limiting factors. But that doesn't mean we can't give you guys a prize of our own. We mentioned that there were going to be some banners made to go on your profile, basically just a little Imgur link that you can put on your profile to show off that you won the Cold Open Cup. And we now have some previews of what they're going to look like. As you can see here, this little wonderful GIF is going to be given to the winning team to put on their profiles to brag that they won the Cold Open Cup, and they were the Cold Open Cup kings of the tournament, as well as some supporter, because you do need supporter to customize your profile page. So it's not going to be for first place only. It's going to be for first, second, and third place. So something for the podium finishers for taking the time to play in this little tournament that we put together for y'all.
Yep. Those banners, I don't know how else it needs to be said, looks really, really, really great. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for these players to give something to play for other than, just bragging rights itself. But well, let's not waste any more time and go into the round of 16 map pool. There's going to be 2 extra maps into the map pool. We have an extra rice slot and a extra hybrid slot. So there's going to be 6 rice maps and 3 hybrids, and as usual, 3 LNs for the round of 16 pool. Yeah, we're just getting ready to get things set up to get rice 1 in.
Yeah, as always, we do all the rice maps, then all the LNs, and all the hybrids. And we're going to start off with our rudimentary jump stream map. It is going to be the Crimson Empire. Real notable thing about this, we're upping the BPM just a little bit here compared to Rice 1 from round of 32. As you might notice, there's going to be a recurring theme throughout this map pool in particular. It's going to be a little bit of a diff spike compared to what you saw in round of 32 overall. As we start getting the elimination matches underway and the conditional matches, we want to make sure the teams moving forward into the quarterfinals and beyond are capable of handling some more physically demanding picks overall. But for most of you in the upper tier or the upper seeding, this might just be more rudimentary stuff for y'all.
Yeah. Some of these maps will pretty much test you on your entry as you approach into more of a later stage, late game of the of the maps that that will definitely be spiked up the difficulty from the comparing to the earlier stages like the round of 64, round of 32. This map in particular, we already are at almost 1/2 of the map in. This map has a lot of jump streams. It does have some flanks mixed in, and then you also have some cuts, broken streams that you just seen just now, there's going to be some more jump stream as you mentioned. Now we're seeing some more. Yeah, now it's just some more jump streams, some triple jacks that players are gonna have to play through, and we see this trill section right here.
Yeah, overall, bit more of a consistency test overall. You start to see the introduction of some like light hand stream sections, like you were saying, those 3-note chords do start to come in on a map like this. Some non-trivial LNs, don't expect anybody to be dropping on those, but given the tendency of some players to chop some of the releases may cause some concerns, maybe some 200 bait going on, a couple of like 3-note bursts as well through the jump streams as well. So definitely got to watch out on the timings on those. But a quick and simple map to get things underway here.
Yep, that is Rice 1. It's a pretty good map. Lot that is tested aside from the usual jump stream patterns, but with that out of the way, let's just go into Race 2. I think this is a pretty interesting map. Even though this is a speed pick, there's a lot of mixed rice in there that just makes this map pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is custom map made by myself. Basically going to be speed test. It does give you a bit of jumps, broken jumps here and there, but overall it's basically just single note 1/4 proficiency, and this is quite a bit of a BPM jump. This is rounded out 205 BPM on 1/4, so definitely upping the tempo a little bit for the speed picks. And once we get into the main choruses, they really do start to go. It's a lot of broken up patterns before it starts to steady out once again. And I mean, this is probably comfortable for some people, but if you were struggling on Whispers from a Different Star in the last round, this might be one to avoid as a team overall, because it definitely does test you a little bit.
Yeah, it gets into that easier section, giving some players some sort of break to just be able to adapt it into the map, and then you can see some small rolls, and now we're getting to this jump jack section. Now we get into more streams as well as different rolls. It's going to be really tricky to execute to hit these note patterns perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. Since it is just basic 1/4, no 1/6, 1/8 to speak of, definitely wanted to get the pattern variations in there. Definitely didn't want it to just be a staircase fest all over the place. But just as quickly as it started, it's a really quick ending as well. So it'll be very interesting to see. And do keep in mind, this is the first map that we've had on rates. Play this on the 1.05 difficulty. Don't want anybody playing the base rate and then getting caught out by the speed jump in match. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
Yep. So we're going into Rice 3, Blessing Snow by Meme. This is another interesting map, I will say.
Yeah, this is we wanted to have a bit of a Christmassy song in here, and this was kind of thrown in, I think, when the Mappool sheet was first created and we were throwing suggestions. This was kind of thrown in here. I don't want to say as a joke, but just kind of like a, hey, this is going to be around Christmas time. Let's throw this in here, and it just stuck. It is our first mixed rice pick, so you're going to see quite a bit of broken jump stream, a lot of jack-oriented patterning as well. Very awkward, very physically demanding overall. One of the more physically demanding picks in this pool.
Yeah, you were mentioning that this is there's going to be a lot of jack patterns. That's what I thought when I saw this map. I thought this was a jack-oriented map that will test on like some on your ability to hit those jump jacks. But there's also some broken streams that's going to be implemented, as you can just see here. There's also going to be some single streams as well as jump streams some are implemented in there, and you can see those jump trails as well.
Yeah, for sure. Just throws a little bit of everything at you. A couple single LNs as well, some anchored stuff to work around, but overall, still the main physicality is going to come from the rice-oriented stuff. And I feel like this pick kind of stayed in here because of the jacky nature of it. I guess I can spoil it now. We're not going to have a dedicated core jack pick just yet, but those more core jack oriented players might want to latch on to this one to get their feet wet for what is to come, because in the next pool, we're probably going to start to introduce core jacks. So definitely look forward to that. Something a little bit of a tame BPM as well to start off with. I believe on 1/4 this equates to about 90 BPM. So nice little easy core jack quote unquote pick to get in there, but it is still labeled as mixed rice.
Yep. And with that, that is Rice 3. We are going to go into Rice 4 now. Tenchi Korin. I thought this was a nice mixed rice map that's going to be interesting to see how well this how this map pans out. It does kind of start slow, and then we're already going straight into those broken streams right here, and then we are seeing some space. You could call it some space jump streams. So timing is going to be, pretty tricky to be able to execute it perfectly.
Yeah. And compared to Blessing Snow, which is more jack-based, this one's more tech-oriented. I know when I was practicing this and seeing if it fit in the pool, it was very nerve-wracking trying to keep like a good ratio going on it, because there are sections within this map that can definitely take you for a bit of a ride, because it varies between like speed elements, between tech elements, timing stuff, broken jump streams. And it like Blessing Snow does, it kind of throws everything at you. The LNs are a little bit non-trivial as well. Definitely gotta watch out for those. Pay them the respect that they deserve, but the real meat and potatoes of this map really comes down to the different rice elements getting thrown at you. Again, a very physically demanding pick, more demanding than what we had in round of 32. So definitely want to take a look at this. Definitely don't want to sight read. So there's definitely some patterns that can trip you up if you're not expecting them here.
Yeah, like you've mentioned, there's going to be a lot of patterns. Some patterns from what I've seen that's going to definitely throw off a lot of the players. And this is a 2-minute 16-second map. But even with how average of a map it is, this is still, I feel like this is a really fun map, honestly, because I actually did play this map while I was watching the Mappool. It's really fun, I will say. It's a lot of broken streams, a lot of split rolls that's tested, as well as some space jacks and some space jump streams. It has just a bit of everything in there. Something that I like, at least.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of something for everybody. And that will do it for Rice 4 here. Going to be rolling right along to our 5th Rice pick, another custom map. It is going to be Perspective by a group I recently discovered called Polite Fiction. This is going to be a bit of a stamina test, light stamina, because it's all jump stream oriented. If you thought that the Crimson Empire was maybe a bit too fast, maybe you can compensate with that. Something a little bit slower, but a lot longer. And boy, trying to keep your consistency on this map, if you're not somebody that plays jump stream that much, does prove to be a bit of a test here.
Yeah, this map, it does start off with an Ellen section, but then it does get into this jump stream section. Now, the thing about this is that the jump streams is definitely going to play a big part, but there's also going to be some breaks in between that will have some other rice patterns being implemented in there. But what you see is we're heading into the broken stream section right there. There's going to be This is a really interesting map because players are gonna have to identify um, the pacing with this map, because I did notice that as the map progresses, it starts to slightly get slightly faster as we are heading into the second section right there with the drills.
Oh, it definitely does feel like that. I can confirm that it is a consistent 137, but as you start reaching that later stage of the map and you're playing through it, you realize that you're about 2 minutes through and it doesn't show any signs of stopping. The streams are still coming, and knowing that any singular mistake throughout this map could spell doom for your run and for your team's overall score, the pressure makes it feel like it's going faster and faster. One really interesting thing to note with the patterning here, a lot of the transitions between like the choruses to the verses to the bridges are denoted by the 3-note chords found inside of the jump streams. So basically use that as a bit of like your checkpoint as you make your way through. And as we make our way into the last third of the map, you do get a tiny bit of a break before you dive back into it, and then it starts to calm down a little bit towards the end. Things get a little bit lighter, but you still definitely need to maintain the focus.
Yeah. As we get into the easier another break section, well, not exactly a break, some single notes that players are gonna have to play. But however, now this is the part I was mentioning where it kind of just feels like it's the map. At least with the pacing of this map and the song, it does feel like at the last section. It feels like it's the last fast part.
Yeah, but rest assured, you are approaching the end of the map. Things are going to lighten up here, and you get into this final little broken jump stream section just to see you on your way out. And just like that, the song is over. It'll be very interesting to see teams that try to attempt this map to see what the um, overall strategy is going to be, because like I said, you're trading BPM for length, and trying to keep the consistency um, is going to be very important. But with that being said, we're going to transition to the additional map. We're going into Ro16 now, and this is going to be our dedicated tech map for the pool. It is going to be Reflective Moment, and don't let the star rating fool you. This is a very abrasive map. Very tricky overall to try and get a consistent run in on.
Yes. It starts easy, but it quickly picks up as it quickly picks up with the speed and the difficulty from start to finish. We're not even approaching the hard part yet, but you could already start to see some streams that are being implemented. There's going to be a lot of some grace notes that are implemented, and throughout the pacing and the patterns that this map has. This is a map that I've mentioned that, okay, there are going to be some maps that will test you as you will be progressing into the later stages. This is one of those maps that I believe that is going to really make a difference as to which teams that I could mention that might have a huge shot of winning, depending on how this map being played out.
Yeah, for sure. I think the teams that could handle something like Valscotch in the last round very well might find this to be their go-to pick in their match. Could definitely see some of the lower seeded teams still remaining banning something like this out just to not have to deal with the overall physicality in the map, the different timings, the different snaps, the different bursts. You got mini jacks thrown in, you got these rolls thrown in. There's just a lot being thrown at you. But in a more you need to have the technique to be able to handle something like this. That's why it didn't go into the mixed rice pool. We definitely wanted to isolate it from that side and just like some of the other maps, just as quickly as it begins, it can just finish in an instant, just like that. And that will do it for the rice picks of the round of 16 pool.
Yep, 6 rice maps. All pretty looks pretty interesting, but with that out of the way, we are going into the LN section. I believe. I could be wrong. No, we are going to. Wait, that is LN. Yeah.
That is Ellen. Yep.
Okay,
So
LN1. LN1. This is your consistency oriented map, but
yeah, we're getting right on into it. We got Ballistic here playing their own map. They actually made the replay for this, and I think we said it during round of 32 showcase that after round of 32 we're really going to stop hand holding a little bit on the LNs. Definitely want to make sure the teams moving on aren't just pure rice oriented. We want to give the LN players something to latch onto, and I feel like that is a good introductory point for where we want to take the LNs from here. So as you were saying, this is the consistency-based LN map. There are a bit of rice breaks in here, but overall, the main difficulty is going to come from coordinating the main LN sections here.
Yep. It kind of does start off a bit easy, but does get progressively difficult. There is going to be some release oriented patterns that players are gonna have to identify, but that's gonna happen in like more of like say the second and the third chorus or the ki section there. But we're already starting to see those releases right now actually.
Yeah, definitely still easy to coordinate. You do have like a rice note to kind of guide you on those releases. There isn't really a lot of ambiguity to the timing releases. Yeah, there's maybe one or two hanging, but they're all like 1-2 based, so you don't have to really overthink when those releases are. So definitely trying to throw you guys off the deep end with the LNs, but if you're not too careful, you can find yourself drowning amongst the noodles.
Yep. As we are heading into the last quarter of the map, yeah, have I also, I don't know if it was mentioned, but this is a 2-minute 50-second map. This is one of your longer maps that, wait, yeah, 2 minutes 50 seconds. This is one of your longer maps that is in the map pool right here.
Yeah, but it's a very nice song to listen to, and if, like I said, you're somebody really well acquainted with coordination and just LNs in general, this might be one of those songs that you can kind of like autopilot your way through. But if you're not really used to playing LN coordination maps like this, struggling to hold on to some of the longer LNs while you do other things around it might prove to be a bit of an issue. But that will do it for LN1.
Yep, so that's going to be it for LN1. As we go into long note 2, it's going to be Yuki no Hana, your release-oriented map, which there's going to be a lot more release patterns. If you thought LN1 might be a bit concerning, there is a lot of cut LN patterns that players are gonna need to identify. It start off with a nice race section, but it's gonna get into more release oriented patterns as the map progresses.
Yeah, and then just some of the transitions in between. You do have some of those like grace note introductions, some like 3 note runs as well. And as you were saying, a lot more release timing, a lot more hanging lens that you actually do need to understand when to release on. If not, you're going to find yourself just dropping 200s all over the place, or even misses if you let go too early or overhold them in some instances. Um, One thing to note so far, the OD 7. So give yourself a little bit wider of a cushion to work with. So definitely not
Yep.
too much to worry about there.
Yep, and you can see the LN pattern. Some inverse from what I've seen just now, but that's going to be it. It's your shortest LM map of the LM pool here for round of 16. Um, yeah, this is only a minute 110 seconds or a minute 50 as we are heading into the last part there, which is going to be your density oriented LM map. Now, this is a pretty interesting map only because of how this map pans out from start to finish. This is also identical with LM1. This is 2 minutes and another 2 minute 50-second map as well. Um, this map, the density patterns are pretty much scattered throughout the map. So you're going to see a lot of those density oriented patterns. It's not like it's going to be broken up into like multiple sections, so that's something that players should keep in mind. But there's a lot of single rice notes that I feel like personally it kind of just like makes up for um the the broke the broken density parts, which I just thought it's a very interesting idea personally for me, but it's also but having played for the map, I can also see why. It kind of adds a layer for another sort of patterns that players are gonna need to identify to be able to hit these notes perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is like as gentle as we could go with something that we're wanting to label as like a density. I know when I was putting this pool together, I put a little note on the label for density on this map. I put wild card because some people might think that there's more like wild cardy. You got some elements of like coordination in there. Maybe the density isn't high enough. So definitely think of it as like a bit of a mixture if you feel like density might not be like the proper label for it. But it is definitely a pretty physically demanding LN pick. Definitely requires a little bit more LN finesse capabilities. So I could definitely see this one getting banned out or protected if you're a more LN oriented team. It'd be very interesting to see how teams approach this map in particular.
Yep. This is going to this is a pretty interesting map. I can see this map being one of the more popular picks, but this map, personally, I feel like this is a hybrid map in disguise. If this is like kind of like a hot take personally for me.
I think some people might share that opinion. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of rice to go around in there, but mainly coordinating the LNs around the rice is going to be interesting to see. But speaking of the hybrids, we're going to go ahead and start diving into those. Now that the
Yep.
LN pool is done, and we're going to start it off with fluctuation. by Zach.
Yep. So, hybrid one. So this time we have 3 hybrid maps instead of 2 from round of 32 to round of 16. Um, this map, there's a lot of mixed rice patterns that players are gonna have to keep an eye on, but Ellen presence is definitely there. Real this map has really good balances of pretty much Ellen and rice notes that players are gonna uh pl- need to be able to play these patterns perfectly. The trills, I think pretty that's a tricky part that players are gonna have to really need to execute perfectly. I remember looking at this map. It's like, man, this map. Now we're really starting to get into some of the maps that even like some of the best players can now say, okay, now this is going to be really interesting to see how well these players will do. And this is another one of those maps where I feel like this is another map that may also test out on players' ability to play through the late game maps as the tournament progresses, like Ro16, like I was mentioning.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to sprinkle in some of those maybe round of 16 plus style of maps where it's like uh, might be like on the teetering on the fringes of quarterfinals, but we still felt like um, it maybe just didn't have that little in terms of either physicality or patterning to put it in something like quarterfinals. So it just found its home in the round of 16 as like the bridge. Like if you can handle this, you can probably handle the quarterfinals maps. If you can't, then you better get to practicing. And like you were alluding to, those little trills in between some of those LN sections are going to be very interesting to see because they're not just like straight 1/4. It starts to slow down towards the end of the trills, and I can definitely see some good runs ending to those trills above all else. But
Yeah,
that will do it for hybrid one here.
we're going into hybrid 2. Um, we're going into Cyber Connect. Personally, this is a tech-oriented map from what I've seen, but I've seen this map. And Sparky has made the map pool. This, and we can both say that this is a stream tech. If you, but you'll see what we're both probably thinking of at the same time. It does start off with well, a lot of rice presents there in the first half, but the second half, especially for LNs, I think this is going to test out something that LN2 doesn't really provide. LN2 doesn't really provide that much, but will be featured on this map.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, they're a short one, about 2 minutes here, so definitely wanted to make sure if we were going to give you guys more physical oriented picks, and you can already see a little bit of a primer, some of these flammed LN starts uh, throughout this little key eye section before we get into the break. Just giving you a little bit of what's to come in the back half of the map. Um, and you start to see the LNs make their appearance.
Yeah, the LN streams that are making their presence, but this is where, if you think this is going to be, if the LN tier is tough, just wait until this part right here. I thought that was very dirty. Now if we're seeing it, the stream releases, that's going to be the tricky part with the second half.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a little primer of what's to come, kind of giving away the ghost a little bit here for some of the more either LN oriented hybrid maps or just the dedicated LN picks as well. You're definitely gonna need to know how to handle your releases because, oh boy, they're gonna get wild from here on out. But
Yeah,
just like that, that will do it for hybrid 2. Just one more map separating us uh, from the tiebreaker for this round. So hybrid 3 going to be
K-pop. Hi
oh
hi. I love. Well, okay. I'm not going to say anything about the group itself because of stupid Korean politics and being a Korean myself. But I will say about this map is that this is a full-length map. Not to be confused with the top diff, which I have played through the top diff so many times, which is more rear. While this top diff is pretty much LN oriented. This one is this is a hybrid. This is for me, I looked at the map. This is like more of a consistency map. There's going to be a lot of jacks implemented with the LNs throughout the build-up, but yeah, but it does kind of quickly build up as it goes into the chorus or the key eyes.
yeah, I think consistency is the best word for this one. You definitely don't get troubled by like rice streams or LN streams, similar to like how fluctuation or cyber connect hit you, but there are a couple of runs to be found throughout here. Don't last for too long, but can definitely be a bit of a run ender if you aren't expecting them.
Yeah, so yeah, the key eyes will pretty much be a lot of the streams. This will happen for the first two of them. The last one, if you think that it's okay, this map personally, there's nothing really tricky. It's just consistency. It's just pretty much those two patterns. What you see here, this is just being displayed throughout the whole map. If anything, just watch out for like if you are struggling throughout the map, I would be concerned heading into the last KI. But as you know, it's pretty early yet, as we are into the second KI right there. Some more broken rolls with some single streams being implemented.
Yeah, a tiny little bit of LN coordination as well. In between the burst, something I really like saying for other tournaments when it comes to hybrid picks, it's really just the rice transitions back into the LNs. Gonna be more prominent as we move through into later map pools, being able to handle individual sections, and then when it starts to blend together, will start to become very high priority as we make our way through the later stages. But I think out of all of them, I think this one's the most nerve-inducing, especially if you are on a really good run. Like you were saying, this last TI, it just starts going and it feels like, wait a second, like this is really good. I can't ruin it now. And as we don't jump into it, I think this is the section you were alluding to.
Yeah, it's just, well, the last KI is just going to be basically everything that has been the map only being combined together. There's going to be, consistency as well as streams being implemented. But with that is going to be it for the rice sell-ins and hybrids. And just in case that the score had to be I don't know what's it like. Maybe is it like 5-5? Is it first to six? I don't know. Well, regardless, if it's going to be one more map to go, or one more map that decides to go, it's going to go into the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a banger if I do say so myself. It is going to be Fragments by Iobon. I believe Iobon just recently got featured artist. Coincidental, this tiebreaker got suggested in the pooling channel, and it just kind of like slotted in perfectly as this bit of a bridge to the quarterfinals and beyond. It has its moments of calm where you can kind of build up your accuracy a little bit, build up your combo, but then there are these when the drop hits and it's like, and it starts going, the difficulty really does start to ramp up and you can definitely find yourself either missing or just dropping loads of accuracy playing your way through it. It is the longest map in the pool, as is typical with the tiebreakers. We're punching just above that 5 minute mark here. And oh boy,
Yeah, now we're getting into the first hard rice part. There's going to be a lot of mini jacks that are going to be implemented along with some trills and jump streams there. Yeah, but this is only going to give you the idea of what's it like, and yeah, this is the first quarter of it. It's just a matter of time before the LNs will start to make their presence. Now, I did mention, or I probably actually did not mention it, but as we get into the LNs, this is where I believe if you think that the LN pool is probably bad, this LN section, I think you might want to reconsider. There is going to be a really disgusting LN density part that's just looking at it, I was just like, oh man, they really did this dirty to everyone. But there's all going to be a lot of still some space jacks here just to build up into that moment right there, that part.
yeah, and as we transition out of the first half of the song, start to see things start to build up once again. These broken releases start to make their way through, and reading your way through.
Yeah, that's the part I was talking about.
Yeah, this little, I don't want to call it full inverse, but like inverse like section, I feel is going to be. I think I've been saying it throughout this entire joke. It's just like a run ender, like being on a good run in FC all the way up until that part, and that's the bridge. Like you're gonna need to know how to play LNs. You're not gonna be able to get away with just Rice physicality from here on out. And we wanted to make sure that there was something to highlight that. And I feel like that was like the moment where I was like, yeah, this should go here.
Yeah, there's going to be shields being played on. Now some rice notes being implemented, but along with some mini jacks here at different speed as we get into this quick speed section of this broken up jacks, or I'm sorry, broken up streams. I mean,
Yeah, that section actually, it was funny because this was originally an SV map. We asked for a non-SV edit from Lane, and they messaged the person that we sent to ask for the non-SV edit as like, hey, here's an edit. I replaced that one stream section you just saw because it used to be just like a 1/8 staircase, and I feel like this just made it so much more interesting to play through. And now we're into this sort of like a techie LN section, something a little bit calm. Things start to wind down, but you still need to maintain full focus throughout the section. And despite everything sounding so calm, can imagine just the nerves playing through the players if they have to actually make their way through this. Oh boy, it's gonna be very interesting seeing either the stamina, either physically or mentally running out, and just seeing the trades back and forth through this ending.
yeah, yeah. This we're approaching it to the end. Not a bit. I believe there's one more section that's going to throw off some players, but wait, no, that's just it. But
Yeah, that's just it.
regardless, that's 5 minutes and 3 seconds of being able to play through this really interesting map that even honestly, I don't even think I could actually be able to put up with actual decent score since I'm like super washed at Mania now.
Yeah, but With that being said, that will do it for the round of 16 Mappool showcase. We hope you guys have enjoyed. I know we guys gave you a bit of an extended break. Definitely didn't want to have a situation come up where somebody would have to play on Christmas or play on New Year's. We know people are traveling, maybe not be at their optimal setups. So hopefully, with these 2 weeks off, you were able to kind of decompress, get yourselves back in the tournament mindset. Very important before we round out this stream. Schedules will be coming out relatively shortly. We've had some time to get that in order during the break. If you are in the losers bracket, very important that you pay attention to this next section. You will have what are known as conditional matches starting this weekend. If you don't know what a conditional match is, basically what it means is you will have your team name listed on the schedule 3 times. Your first match is the match that you are going to play to start the weekend. If you win that match, you will play one of 2 possible second matches. It depends on who wins on the other side of those 2 matches. So, very important, look at all 3 matches listed on the schedule, coordinate the times. The conditional match must happen after your first match. If you do have any questions or if you're having trouble reaching out to the captains of any of the other teams, please let us know as soon as possible so we can help you guys coordinate that. The last thing we want is a team winning their first match and inadvertently losing by default because they didn't realize they had a second match that same weekend. Outside of that, like I said, all the information will be posted in the Discord. If you do have any questions, please let us know. We'll do our best to help you guys out. If you're having trouble communicating with people, just let us know. We'll bring you guys in as best as we can. We definitely want to make sure everybody has the best round of 16 experience as possible. We know conditional matches are always scary in any tournament setting. No matter how experienced you are, there is always that one person or team that forgets to check the schedules. But Pork, outside of that, is there anything else you want to add?
To make it short from what Sparky said, you have 2 matches this next upcoming weekend. So just keep in mind that whoever just pay attention to the sheet, and if you have problems with scheduling, just try to reschedule or reach out to any staff. Other than that, that's just going to be it for this showcase. First off, as typical, I just want to say thank you to Rise with Bash for streaming this showcase. I hope he does enjoy that gifted sub, and I hope to everyone else that I gave 7 gifted subs. Hopefully, you guys can still support via sub. I just want to say thank you to Sparky for co-commentating, and nice mic, by the way. I actually did notice the difference. It sounds super nice. I mean, not to discredit your other microphone, but I thought there was a difference, a more high quality difference. But yes, that is it. We hope you guys enjoyed your holiday break. I know I have, because I am going to be so busy tomorrow with something. I have something announced going for the standard tournaments. But yeah, other than that, that's just going to be it. Hope to see. Best of luck to everyone, and best of luck to all 48 teams that are entering. It's going to be sad to see, another 12 teams. I believe that is going to be eliminated, but that's just what it is with tournaments. Yep. You just have to say goodbye to them no matter what, because, well, yeah,
that's how it be.
That's just how it be. But that's out of the way, that's just it. We'll see you guys on the round of 60 matches.
Till then.